Before we get into all this gorilla stuff, you know, today as episode, we're going to talk about Gorilla Glue. As vlogging parents, we got a 10-month-old in the background. I'm sure he's going to make an appearance at some point. Okay, so babe, with this Gorilla Glue stuff,
yes,
there is a Ghanaian aspect to this whole thing. That's why we are doing a video.
Yes.
There doesn't need to be another Gorilla Glue video.
You've all seen the video. You've all talked about it. Today, I am here because there is something that I realized, or I noticed, I should say. I know I have long hair. You know, sometimes when you have long hair, you just want to kind of flip it. But anyway, so I noticed that the surgeon who actually helped their lady get the Gorilla Glue out of her hair is African.
But babe, he's not only African, but it all hits close to home because where is he from?
He's Ghanaian. As you know, I'm Ghanaian. But anyway, we don't have a tea. We could have sipped on some tea. Her name is Tessica Brown.
Not okay? Jessica.
Tessica. And we are not going to refer her as Jessica or Gorilla Glue Girl. Her name is Tessica.
Now that's an important theme here because this is all about name. This is a biblical thing. Naming is important. My name is Christian. People call me Chris often. I don't like it. People also say I'm a nice guy. However, when people call me Chris, they see a side of me that's not really the nicest part. I will quickly correct them, and I've actually done that in auditions, for major auditions.
Really?
And the casting director said, okay, thank you, Chris. I said, it's Christian.
Did you get a job?
No. It was more important for me not to be Chris.
Maybe you should have just said I'm Chris and get a job.
I'm not Chris.
See, that's the point. When we started dating, and then, you know, possibility that we might get married, I know so many people, even at my old job and stuff, they were like, oh, your name is going to be Anderson now. And there were a long time for me personally that I thought to myself, it would be so nice to be referred to as Anderson instead of my last name, just because when people see Anastasia Anderson, they would not know who I am as a black woman. Meaning they will not know I'm African. Like, that's what my concern was in the beginning. I was like, oh, thank God I have Anderson now. So
that's a whole other blog that we'll talk about with Kwame that actually has come across my head.
Yes.
Of just what goes into a name, and people make assumptions, and will he have cards stacked against him sometimes?
Yes.
And that's a for real blog. We're having fun here, but we will talk about that.
Yes.
About going further with what you just said.
Yes, we will talk more about it.
How people perceive names, and they might make prejudgments, and it might affect decision making about grading, about job placement, about applications.
And it sucks. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. But anyway, we're saying all this to say that the physician, Dr. Michael, I think K. Obeng. So the G is like Obeng without like saying Obenga. So I noticed that a lot of people who interviewed him keep saying Dr. Obengi, Obanga, Obeng.
Dr. Michael Obeng.
Dr. Michael K. Obeng.
And I'm like, and he's actually, I've seen him interview and he's not like correcting people. And then I'm sitting at home like, can you tell people that your name is not Obinga, Obanji, Obeng, whatever the situation is? But he's probably like, at this point, people has messed up my name. It's O-B-E-N-G. It's just five letters. Obeng, Michael Obeng.
Michael Obeng.
No, Obeng. Look at me. Obeng.
A common name in Ghana.
I mean, I know a lot of people call Obeng.
Is there a meaning to the name?
No, I don't know that. Obeng. But this vlog is mostly about when people pronounce your name and you know they are murdering.
It's all about pronunciation, and she's murdering the word that talk about how names are being obliterated.
I am going to call some of our friends who are not Ghanaian just to see how they will pronounce the name, okay?
Obeng.
Obeng?
Yes. Obeng.
Who?
Obeng.
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 So then you are on camera.
Oh wow, how do I look? Obeng. The G is sort of swallowed. Obeng.
Obeng.
Obeng?
Obeng.
Obeng? What? You Ghanaian, so you got this.
Okay, we have an update.
Obeng.
A user from Ghana has said that the name Obeng is
No, Obeng.
Obeng. means smart or brilliant.
So the point is, it's understandable when the name is so hard to pronounce. Listen, some American names are very hard to pronounce. Believe me, a lot of it. Even Christian sometimes it's a lot. It's like Christian, like it's simple names are hard to pronounce. Why? See, that's.
No one mispronounces Christian.
You see Christian's face? That's the issue. Meaning, people think just because they have American name, it's easier for other people to pronounce. That was the point I was making. There are other people from different countries that they might come here and think Christian is hard to pronounce if English is not their first name.
Okay.
Even Smith might be hard for other people to pronounce. You might think it's funny, but other people in different countries might think Smith is hard to pronounce because it's not their native language or it's not spelled in their native language.
In America, we're a huge island where a lot of people come here and we expect people to learn the language and get it. The average American doesn't have the experience of going to another country to start over and experience what it's like to learn a second language and to learn different pronunciation. You might even be from a place that speaks English. You might be from the BVI or the U.S. Virgin Islands. And you have a Caribbean accent and you come here and there's a whole different way of American English as opposed to the British English or the Caribbean English. I think there's sometimes a lack of grace, or we as Americans don't have that context. I'm
trying to think other names that Americans think is easier to pronounce. I'm actually surprised and also not surprised that Dr. Michael Obeng is not really correcting these people when they say his name incorrectly or how it's not pronounced. Maybe he likes it. My last name used to be Abuaje. It was so hard. I don't think I came across not one person that was able to pronounce my name Abuaje. And it was Abugai, Abugu, Abuji, Abugigi.
And is that an easy name in Ghana to pronounce?
I mean,
that's like Anderson.
I think so. I got to a point where I would say, you know what, it's okay, just call me Anastasia. So I'm assuming he's so used to people just murdering his name that he's like, you know what, it's fine. Yeah. Also, some people are like, even people who interviewed him are like, oh, he's Nigerian.
Where he grew up in Nigeria.
I mean, I thought before you interview someone, it's like when you interview an American person and say, oh, so Christian Anderson, he's from Mexico. Did you really check their background to make sure they are not from Mexico?
And they'd be like, well, no,
and there's nothing wrong with being from
Mexico.
It's just that it's the same continent, so you could make a mistake, but it's very hard. It's very hard for Americans to make that mistake of saying someone who's American, or United States of America is from Mexico. Why is that? Why is that?
Well, no.
Why is that? It's the same continent.
Well, no. It's what happens with...
Do you have a name that is hard to pronounce? And the only way you know your name is hard to pronounce or harder to pronounce is if people have been murdering your name. Leave a comment below. What is your name and how do people say it? Like, write it in a way that you think is easier for Americans, since everything has to be catered to Americans.
Well, and have you ever, not just American, whenever you go into a new context, sometimes you want to make it easier for your life because just that context you're in doesn't get it. Well, how much are you willing in your own lives, wherever you are, to correct people and to stick to it, or have you just kind of given in?
I want to know, Dr. Obeng, why are you not telling people that your name is Obeng, not Obengi, Obagai, Dr. Obengi, none of that?
So now to cap off this vlog, we came for what everyone wants, is will the Gorilla Glue actually work in this Ghanaian girl's hair? So babe, are you ready? 3,
he wishes.
2,
he wishes.
1.